What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Connie. And we here on 95 South Podcast Show once again in the building. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here and to be able to you know, do this show and to be able to have great topics and great people. You know what I'm saying? I introduce my right hand man, your baby mama favorite host. You know what I'm saying? Barry White Jr. himself. What's going on with my man Jacob, the great in the building? What's going on, fam?
What's happening? What's happening, man? Glad to be in the land of the living, man. Man, it's tough out here in the world, man. So you just gotta be grateful for each breath you get, each day you can take, each step you can take, man. And we just gotta, unite and show each other some love and respect.
True. Facts. So, man, we're gonna get into the topic for the night, the first topic of the night. And what I want to talk about first is military draft and the mentality needed going in. And so basically I did a live on this the other day. And I know everybody got mixed feelings about it, mixed emotions. It's a lot of people that tell you, these kids may need it, for to build character and integrity and to be able to, develop some survival skills and all of that. And to a certain degree, I agree with it. But where I kind of I'll give some pushback on it is that it's one thing if kids that want to go into the military and want to go into like the Army, the Navy, the Air Force or whatever. It's another thing when you kind of force a kid, especially in this era, to do something they don't want to do. Most of these kids don't even want to work a 9-to-5 job, let alone you talking about going in a situation where now they're forced to do everything that somebody else is telling them to do. And so I think that can be kind of that could be tricky. So that's gonna be my first question asking you. What's your thoughts on that part of it right there?
I think that it ain't thought all the way through, but I think the reason why it's like that, man, is because the communities are in the down spiral going out of control. And rather than have these kids on the street, and if you want to be on the front line because you're doing what frontline people do, I think they want to open the draft back up. And I think that another thing they want to open the draft back up because they're not going to have enough people to fight China and Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're drafting as many people as possible. But when you're talking about a mind state of mental health and depression and anxiety and stuff like that, man, these kids got anxiety because their parents tell them no. And they walk around blowing more weed than a little bit because of the word no. So impactfully, this is going to weigh on their mental capacity so bad, man. I think it's gonna be some things that happen in the military that didn't happen before. When it comes to soldiers going at each other in the barracks, because everybody is so mentally disbarred. You know what I mean? So it could work out, but boy, it could be something that the government has bit the bullet, and boy, it may not work out at all.
Exactly. So, and this is my thing too, because like I tell people, I said the mental part, like when you go into boot camp, and I don't care what branch you go into, Air Force, Army, Navy, Marines, it's a certain adjustment that takes place. And the thing about it is, and if anybody want to get that's in the military that listens to this right now live and want to get an invite to come on here to talk, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Send us a comment and we'll bring you on. But the thing about it is the mental mentality it takes to get through boot camp takes a lot. And if you're not prepared for that, or if you're not willing to put yourself through that, then to just tell somebody, "Oh, we're just gonna throw you into the draft," and not caring about whether or not what their thoughts and feelings is on that is it could cause a lot more issues than you think. So I just believe we got to be very careful on how we go about doing something like that. How we go about, you know, uh, uh, placing people. Because if we're going to draft people, then we need to have psych evaluations. We need to really sit down with them. We can't just be like when you go to the recruiter back in the day and they ask you a few questions and say, okay, take the ASVAB. We're going to really have to do some psych evaluation because you don't want to put a gun in the wrong person's hand. And this is what I said on my live the other day. I said, if I was parents, now, if you got a kid that may be eligible between the 18 and 26-year old, I would say what you might want to do is sit down and watch the movie Full Metal Jacket. Watch the first probably about hour of that movie. That when they go through the boot camp part, it's about the closest thing you're gonna have to the real thing when it comes to how boot camp goes when you go through a boot camp in the military. Especially we talking about on the army side, and this is talking about back in the day. So I know it was way worse then than it is now. So I already know that what the guy put them through is not far fetched from what really happens or whatever on all the way around. It just happens that most people don't go as far as blowing the sergeant's head off and all that kind of crazy stuff. But you definitely need to watch that. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get your kid to get a full understanding of what's about to go down. You know what I'm saying? So, any of your thoughts about all on that?
Um, yeah, man. I just really think, man, with this draft, man, you said psych evaluation, man. The military is no different from law enforcement, man. I think law enforcement need to go through the same, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think any type of profession where you're holding any type of gun, whether it be a rifle, whether it be a semi-automatic, whether it be a handgun, whatever. I think, man, you need to be seeing what's up with people mentally before you put that handgun in their hand. You know what I'm saying? Because some of them already are mentally disbarred walking around here, and you may not even know it.
Exactly, exactly. You know what I mean? Because I know when I went through I want to say it might have been the first week, they took us over to take a survey or evaluation. They did an evaluation on us and asking us certain questions. And I'm just answering the questions, almost like honestly, because how I feel. Because I ain't gonna lie, that first week being in there was kind of it was a shock to my system. You got to think. I was 26 years old. I wasn't no 18, 19 year old. I was a 26-year-old grown man, married with kids already. So you telling somebody to go in there to basically, I'm used to working and I've managed restaurants and managed people in all kind of management role type job. Now you telling me to go in and listen to people younger than me getting yelled at like I'm a child and all this other stuff. So for me, it was really hard because I'm like, oh, that first night, I ain't gonna lie. That first night that I was in boot camp, by the time I got to my bunk, I cried a little bit because I was like, man, what the hell did I get myself into? So I ain't gonna front and act like I was all tough and whatever. And I've seen some guys that you thought was tough guys that broke down a couple of times or whatever the case may be. So it ain't easy to go. It ain't easy mentally just to get through that boot camp part. It's not. It's not at all. So I would just advise to them that, yeah, you might want, and then think about drafting today in time and back in the day. Back in the day, people didn't have a lot of options. So when people was getting drafted back in the day to you know what I'm saying, whatever it was Vietnam or whatever, you know what I mean, they didn't have a lot of options. So they were more willing to go. And in even certain cases, when you got in trouble with the law, the courts would make you go. Because they'd be like, you got one or two choices. You either go to jail or the military. So maybe that maybe be a solution if you don't want to keep throwing everybody in prison. If somebody has maybe, especially with these young kids, if they have, nonviolent crimes and you may be trying to save their life, maybe that's what you do. You put them in the military and maybe get them some discipline or something that way. You know what I mean? So, so what you think?
Um, I'm Man, I'm just across. I don't think it's a good idea at all. I don't at all.
Hmm. So you don't think the draft is? You don't think the draft is a good idea at all?
No.
I mean, I don't think it is either. But we here now, so I'm just trying to come up with solutions to the problem because at this point they done voted on it. I don't know if they have any other legislation that has to vote again, or like I don't know how if it's all the way 100% in law and on the books now, but if it is, and I don't really know what their thought process, what they're looking at as far as are they short-handed, or do they feel like a war is coming up that they need these kids in? I don't know. So, um, you know, I don't know. Have they touched bases with people that maybe just retired and maybe bring them back if they need some people or whatever, because I heard they paying a lot more money now. Because my boy hit me the other day that did 10 years, and he said the E1's getting paid pretty good money going in. So I don't know if that's an incentive that they can go about doing, whatever. But we'll see. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. Unless you got one, I'm gonna go on to
I
this
do.
next one. Okay, go
Trump and
ahead.
Bi- Trump and Biden.
Okay.
Um. Well, I think I've watched Biden for these years, man, and I just feel like he really hasn't did what he promised the people. But this is what I do know about Trump. Trump is an economist. You know what I'm saying? So people gonna vote for him because he's promising entrepreneurs, he's promising citizens money, he's promising truck drivers better situation. He's promising. Um, he's promising. He proposed something that health care people that should be a government job, like DC government. If you're any type of field of healthcare, he thinks that that should be a governmental job. It's a lot of different things that he thinks, and he wants all the vocational trades back into the school, like like back in like some schools back in the day. By the time people graduated high school, they have a contractor license, or the chicks will have a CNA, or they will always have their barber's license, and he wants to make sure we that the school systems in America turns into the STEM program. There's science, technology, economics and mathematics, and so just with that alone, man, who who do you think people are with, and who do you think they're gonna now? Now they was talking about he got all these felons, but I heard they gonna knock all them felons down to a misdemeanor. So what do you think about that?
Well, for one, I've been talking to you about this for last couple of years and other people, and I told them that, me and being over the road driving for the last 3, 4, about 5 years now, and a lot of times I'm sitting in truck stops and I'm talking to other truck drivers, and a lot of these truck drivers will tell you that they was for Trump because a lot of them was eating better, he was eating more when Trump was in the White House and making a lot more money than they were because the gas prices was lower and whatever things that Trump had in place for truck drivers were better for them. So I just feel like a lot of the guys and people that's in the transportation industry will vote for Trump. Um, and the thing about Trump understands how to placate and to draw people in from middle class to poor situations. So he's going
Mm-hmm.
to get those people first to say, listen, this is what I'm willing to do for y'all or whatever. Because at the end of the day, um, like Biden really hasn't done really anything that we can point to for the people over the last 4 years. What has he done? If I'm missing something, tell me, please. Everything I over here Biden is doing has always got something to do with the war or the wall or some kind of something with the immigrants or something like that. It's never nothing that's that's that points to poor people, whether it's white, black, brown, or purple. It does nothing that's helping poor people in America. So we kind of in the same boat. If you look at poor people, they've been in the same exact boat for the last 4 years, other than the COVID money, and that really hasn't benefited nobody because inflation kicked in as soon as we went back to normal life. Everything went up. So now people are some people probably worse off than what they were because he didn't really try to help businesses. You drive around the country, a lot of small businesses had to close down, never could open back up. So where did the money go for them to help
I,
them?
I, I couldn't listen, man. Under Biden's administrations, if you look up how many Bath and Body Works closed down, how many Walmarts is closed down, if you look at how many Applebee's restaurants closed down, how many Outbacks is closed down, like when Trump was in office, man, even during the COVID time, uh, the restaurants might was closed, but as soon as we got out of COVID, man, he made sure that they can get some money to sustain their business, whether it's with the Small Business Administration, whether it was with nonprofits, whether it's with business funding, you know, he just made sure that there was money there for the citizens of America. And I just really think Biden don't really understand, when it comes to a small business. I don't really think he understands when it comes to how many people went in the hole during COVID. Because people used their life savings because they couldn't work, man. People had to go in that 401k just to sustain. And so I just think that if Trump is able to run, if they allow him to, this ain't even gonna be close.
No, it ain't. I told my mom yesterday. I said I will be shocked if Trump don't win. Because think about this too. Last few elections we've had, you knew all the candidates whether you liked them or not. Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, some of the other ones. You at least knew their names. I couldn't even tell you who the names of the people that's running this time. And the crazy part is, by the time you realize who they are, a lot of them been dropping out before they got to the got going good. So and you know how Americans are. Once they lock in to who they want, it's hard to convince the American to go for anybody else. That's why if you look at it over the history of America, most of the presidents do 2 terms. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a shock that Trump didn't do 2 terms. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that really messed Trump up from not doing 2 terms is one, because he didn't handle the George Floyd situation right. He wasn't sensitive enough about that. You know what I'm saying? And two, he lied about the COVID thing, and that affected everybody in America. So everybody was at the same time was going through the same thing, and he lied. He lied about knowing about it. So I think that's the only 2 things that if it wouldn't have been for that, I think he would have got reelected. You know what I'm saying? So I just at this point I just feel like we just got to be prepared, because once they said that he probably more likely not going to do no jail time, and like you said, they probably gonna knock everything down to misdemeanor. Because you know why they gonna knock it down to a misdemeanor? Because people have made a big uproar over a president being a felon, and now it's going to be like they don't want to make it look him going in being a felon, and now you look at real felons that got done, then you say, okay, well, why is it that they can't get housing, they can't vote, they can't get a gun, they can't do this, they can't do that as a felon, but you can hold the highest power in the land as a president with on a felony on your record. So
Man,
that's why they're gonna drop it down.
man, Trump got so much influence, bro. Even in the Department of Corrections, Trump Trump will mess around and change the whole voting system where felons can vote from prison. Watch what I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I see that coming too. You know what I mean? I see him doing that too. You remember he was getting a lot of people out of jail, and what you call it, what they call it, giving people immunity or whatever,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Or before, you know what I mean, or whatever, even Kodak Black, which he probably looking like egg on his face with Kodak Black, because Kodak Black that made him look so stupid after he got Kodak Black out and he can't get himself together. But yeah, that's the kind of thing he was doing. You know what I mean? Saying helping these, a lot, and I think he's gonna do the same thing. Get a lot of, especially non-violent offenders and people that's been in prison way too long, for crimes they really shouldn't be in prison for no 30, 40 years for. So I think you're gonna see a lot of that going on with them too. Like I said, because he knows how to placate towards poor people, because he know, like, we're the ones that kind of run the country. Like, only 1% of America is like rich. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? So they don't. The poor people is the one that kind of make the world go around. Because even poor people spend money. You know what I mean? That's the thing about poor people. They poor, but they still spend money when they get it. That's
Yeah, the
why.
biggest the biggest consumer in America is black and brown
Exactly.
people.
Exactly. That's why they give free money, because they know it's gonna go right back into the economy. You know what I mean, or whatever. So it is what it is on that.
And then interesting take today I seen on a reel. So here's some. It's been a lot of fans coming up making these reels, right? And they said that people talking about Kendrick and this Kendrick that they was like, don't nobody listen to Kendrick but the West Coast man. They said people from down south in the East Coast, even Midwest, they don't listen to no Kendrick man. It was like, don't nobody like that man. There ain't no 808 drum pattern or nothing. Like, don't nobody like that. And so I just said that we'll talk about the state of hip hop, and we'll talk about, they I heard down south cat say that, you don't ever mention Kendrick to me. If you say Ice Cube, we ride. You know what I mean? They was like,
Mhm.
ain't nobody listen to Kendrick like that. Cat said, I'd rather listen to Game than listen to Kendrick. People from down south. So what you think about that take?
Mhm. Um, I mean, I can see that. I don't think it's necessarily true about only people on West Coast listen to Kendrick Lamar, whatever. I think that's a far fetched statement, because most of the people that I know that loves hip hop always put Kendrick and J. Cole up there with Drake as far as the top artists, especially in this generation. So, and that's
Mm,
people that, and most people, I don't talk to people from the West Coast. People I know is from the South and up north, and they put Kendrick Lamar up there with the best of them. So I know that's not true. But when it comes to the music side, like when you say listen to Game over Kendrick, I mean, I could see it, but I don't see it being something that people do nowadays. Because
I don't
nowadays,
I don't necessarily like Kendrick flow like that, man. Like it's like on some of the songs, the way he rapped, I was like, oh, this the black Eminem, and it bored me.
boy, I mean, to me personally, like when it comes to Kendrick, I like some of his songs or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Of course, he can rap, but I mean, I don't get excited when he come out with new stuff all the time. Like I ain't really, I don't get excited for it like that. Like I get more excited if Nas or Busta Rhymes or somebody come out with something new or whatever, or Griselda, or before I do Kendrick. You know what I mean? Like, I like Kendrick as a rapper, but you know what I'm saying, or whatever. But I don't really get into it like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he
What
ain't
up?
he ain't really. I might have maybe one or two songs of Kendrick in my playlist on my Spotify playlist. He ain't heavy in my playlist like that. Now
No,
J
no.
Cole, J Cole always been heavy in my playlist, bro, for sure. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I just think, man, what I feel about West Coast rap, man, is they always wanted to be accepted. You know what I mean?
Who was that?
West Coast, they always wanted to be accepted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's like they want to be accepted, but at the same time, like they ain't have to fight and claw their way like the South. And when like it's like Big Gibb say, man, you can put mad producers that's all across the nation, but ain't none of them producers messing with down south producers, and that's a fact.
Hmm.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah. I
Like
mean, 'cause
like ain't nothing touching the south when it comes to music right now, man. Nothing.
well, the thing about what I think with the LA sound and music, the part with them is they haven't evolved to me enough. They still talking about gang banging. They still talking about, they still wear their khakis when they Converses, and what I mean. They haven't really evolved like other like regions of the country have evolved in music or whatever. So it's kind of like they kind of stuck in their own world, still talking about what they talk about. Because even if you listen to like Dallas music and Houston music, the artists that come out of there, they even have a different sound and a different thing, stuff they talk about. You might not necessarily like it, all of it, but at least it's a different sound. West Coast is pretty much the same. It's always been the same. It ain't never really changed. You know what I'm saying? It's about pimps, hoes, and money and weed. You know what I mean? And gang banging, and that's about it.
Like
And
you right. Like Common don't sound like Kanye, and Kanye don't sound like Twister. That's
no,
Midwest. And Nelly
mm-mm.
don't sound like none of them. That's Midwest. Tech Nine don't sound like none of them. That's Midwest. So you can name it. And Jesus don't sound
And
like
even
Andre
Lil Durk, you might
3000.
not like Dirk, but he don't sound like none of them. He don't sound nothing
No,
like Kanye West and all of them.
no.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
And Vaughn ain't sound like none of them either. You know what I mean?
No. Uh-uh. You know what I
So
mean?
so
So like the new generation got they totally different sound with that drill music. The the,
mhm.
the Chicago, I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but at least it's a whole different sound than what they created their own thing.
Right.
Whereas a lot of the West Coast, they just piggyback off of the old stuff or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? And they not no, most of them haven't evolved into anything new that make you want to go out and be like, if you're in the East Coast or the South, to be like, I want to run and get this artist from the West. So I think that's why people like Kendrick stood out more. YG, he was he he good, but he's more regional than anybody. YG is more West Coast regional when it comes to his sound than Kendrick is to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And shout
But
out
like
to Crooked Eye. We didn't say nothing about Crooked Eye when we did the best rap artist from the West Coast. We should be ashamed of ourselves because I don't think we named Crooked Eye.
man, I didn't even think he was from the West Coast, bro. Until I find this out recently, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Cause he don't sound like none of them, bro.
Mm-mm.
It's
Nope.
just like back in the day, Roz Cass ain't sound like none of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He from LA. You know what I mean? So Ice Cube don't really sound like LA artists, man.
No.
You know what I
No.
mean? But him and Trick Daddy was talking about that on when he was out there in Miami with Trick, and he was at Trick restaurant, and Ice Cube was like, man, my family from South Carolina and North Carolina, man. And he said, so once you accustomed, he said my mom's side from South Carolina, North Carolina, and my dad's side is from Mississippi and Louisiana. So he said, so once you're in the household with down south parents, man, you really pick up those vibes of down south, man. He said that's why the way my life was set up in the music industry, it was so different, man. To he feel like having those down south traits and down south values. That's why I stood out more than anybody in the group. That's what that's what he said.
Well, see, the thing about it is, it's a lot of rap artists whose family originated from the South, whether it was North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Alabama, Mississippi. It's a lot of artists. I guarantee you, tell you, my family, whether they was from New York and their family was from the South, whether they was from a lot of these artists would say they came from North Carolina and moved out to Compton or South Central or something. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of artists. If you hear their stories, their family originated from you know what I'm saying, the South, and then they move to the West. So they have that, they have that thing in them, because a lot of them would come back home and to North Carolina and stay the summer in a North Carolina or South Carolina or somewhere. So a
That's what
lot of
Jay Z
artists would
said.
do that, like, you know what I
Jay
mean?
Z said. Jay said his grandparents from Somerville, South Carolina. That's right outside of Charleston.
Yeah, I think Nas family, from my understanding, Nas got family that's from like Troy, North Carolina. You
Right.
know what I mean? Who else? It's been a lot of artists. I want to say Mace got family that's from North Carolina. I want to say who else? Was it Cam? It's
Cam
other
too.
artists, a lot of artists
Yeah, yeah. Cam,
that, you know
Jim
what I'm saying?
Jones, Snoop. One side his family is
Yep.
from Mississippi, and the other side is from Allendale, South Carolina. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Yep. Yep. So it's a lot of artists that's from like from the north or west coast, that they family is from the south or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
So
So,
yeah,
but
so yeah, that,
I think Kendrick is a cultural generation talent. That's what I think about Kendrick. He's so much for the culture, bro, and that's the only thing he look at. Like if it ain't uplifting or leveling up the culture, man, he offended. And like when he called Drake a colonizer. I
uh,
mean, boy, that's a high end slavery word, boy. Like I mean, to call somebody a colonizer, bro. Listen, man, you said that man could have been part of the 13 colonies.
well, see, think about Kendrick. Kendrick he's an old soul, you know what I'm saying, type artist. So he, like I said, he kind of came out at the right time, because when he came out, him and Cole, it was something that the culture needed, because everybody was kind of starting to go the same direction, do the same thing, and when they came out, they brought the substance back to hip hop. And so that's why I always say with Kendrick, if Kendrick was the same personality, the way, because most people tell you how quiet Kendrick is in public, he don't really talk a lot. So if Kendrick was that same kind of personality back in the '90s, he would probably just be another great lyrical artist, and he wouldn't stand out, because the one thing about the '90s and the '80s, you couldn't just rap. You had to have that swag about you.
A
And the one thing about
personality.
Kendrick, yeah, Kendrick don't really have a swag about him, but it works for this generation. But back then, he would just been another rapper, because he didn't have any kind of swag or charisma about him. You
The
know what
way
I mean?
Kendrick, the way Kendrick dressed, I thought he was on tour with the skateboarder Tony Hawk.
You know what I'm saying? Think about it. Kendrick would be more like Slum Village. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
if
yeah,
you know Slum Village,
yeah.
they had great music, but they never really took off like they were supposed to, because they didn't really have they looked like their name. You know what I'm saying? Even though they had great music. That's
They
what
had real
Kendrick would
good.
have been.
They had real good music, bro.
Exactly. But that's what he would have been. He would have been Slum Village. He would have had some great records, but he wouldn't have been top dog. He wouldn't have been, the guy that everybody would have been saying the greatest of all time. You know how we would have been saying about Kendrick? We would have been talking about him like we talk about AZ, or Common, like who's the most underrated rapper. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Rapper from back in the day. He would have been in that category. You know what I mean? So
My now I kind of if I had to make a movie about somebody going to court and it would be some comedy scenes in the movie. Listen, man, that Woody from YSL, boy, look at him. Boy, look at him, man.
oh man. Hey, Woody is the funniest dude. It's two people that right now that pique my interest when every time I go on YouTube or go on social media. Woody and that comedian Ali Sadiq. Them two right there, like, but that dang Woody, I said, boy, hey, you can't get no realer than Woody. But Woody is what you call the epitome of Atlanta dude. If you if you talk or be around somebody that's from Atlanta, I'm talking about homegrown. born and raised Grady baby type Atlanta type dudes, they act just like Woody. They gonna give you the real, the raw. They don't care
You
what
you
you think.
you ain't
That's
when you say Grady, baby, you ain't talking about Grady Hospital, is
yes, yes. That when you
you?
know when a person it be funny because that's what people tell you. You be like, "Where you from?" They be like Atlanta, Grady, baby, all day. That's the only city in America that named the hospital that they was born at. Hey, why you name the hospital? I never understood that part. Like, okay, why you can't just say from Atlanta? They be like Atlanta, Grady, baby. What? Okay, what that mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Man,
Ain't like you
listen,
be
man.
like,
He said,
like you be like Saluda, whatever hospital is Saluda. It ain't like you be like Saluda, such and such hospital. You know what I mean? Like what? Like what they got to do with it? You know what I'm saying?
man,
So
that lady said, so what you say? What you say about Cleveland Ave? She said somebody Cleveland Ave, and she called somebody, and he said, which one? There's three of them. The one that was hanging with you and you know, the person that's on trial. What person on trial? A lot of black people on trial. What person you talking about? I said, hell no. I said, hell no, man. I said, what? Man, you know who on trial, man. Who you talking about?
yeah, that's what I said, man.
That
That
lady was
Woody
like,
different, man.
man, listen, man. I said, that man throwed off, man.
Mm-hmm.
He
He
just,
gonna
he
he
just,
gonna decide the whole court. He gonna decide the whole case by himself.
man, he told that attorney off so bad. She was getting so mad, and then she tried to put that paperwork in there, and the judge said, no, you're not. We're not putting that here today. It went on my desk yesterday. It went on my desk this morning, and now now you bringing it to the stand. I don't know. She got mad, started
Mm-hmm.
screaming at the judge. I said, hell no, boy. That lady mad, boy.
This what I don't get. I don't get. I don't know where this judge came from or how he got in that seat, but I've never seen a judge have less uh, control of his courtroom than him. I've never seen nothing like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think he was just laughing at her in his mind. He was like, oh man, this woman right here, man. I don't even think he wanted to entertain it, man, because he was just so nonchalant about it. He was like, ma'am, we're not gonna discuss this no more. He was just so calm about it. You know what I mean? I was like, oh man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Woody
So
though, man,
yeah, Woody, different man. Like I look forward to going on TikTok to seeing what Woody had to say today. But I'll be like, I know if as long as they got him in that seat, he gonna say something crazy.
what you
You know what
think?
I'm saying?
What you think Young Thug was thinking when he seen Woody up there?
I mean, yeah, Thug probably like, oh Lord, this crazy dude. He probably like this crazy man. Yeah, hit him because he probably been knew Woody was crazy. He be like, oh, he probably shaking his head like, I don't know what that joker might say. You
That
so
that's probably why he kept him around, man.
yeah,
Cause
you
he
know, what that
know,
joker might say.
with Woody, man, Woody don't care, boy. Woody just
Mm-hmm.
he
Like some
said,
people, you
friend,
got friends like that. You kind of just let them be who they are, and most times you just laughing at them, or you looking at them sideways. You either laughing at them or you looking at them sideways when they say something. That's the
he
only
said
two ways when you got friends like that.
he said friends. I know him in high school, but we weren't friends like that. I mean, I never ate his mama cooking. I said, what I said, what they got to do with what that lady asking you?
Oh man, I still can't get over the whole kid thing. What the hell talking about? Yeah, how many kids you got? Shoot, I don't know. He said I got a lot of them. Then she was like, "You got at least two, yeah." They, how old are they? He said, I don't know, the same age. She said, well, how old is that? I don't know. Y'all keep me in jail so much, I lost track of time. Boy. I said, boy, these jokes crazy. You know what I mean?
It's
But
crazy.
anyway, for next topic, man, I want to talk about this Diddy and Cassie situation. So
Take that.
I've been I've been watching this dude named Roger Bonds. So Roger Bonds
I
first went
watched him
on,
today, man. I watched some
yeah.
of his stuff today.
So if you know the story, you got to kind of understand Roger Bond. So you might have to go back and watch his original interview with Vlad. I think was it Vlad? It might have been if it wasn't Vlad, the interview was one of the people that worked for Vlad. But basically, he an ex drug dealer from New York, did some time in prison, came out, whatever, and he started working for Diddy as a security. Now, I don't know. I know he was wrapped up in the whole Cassie civil case where his name was brought up as far as being a witness and kind of helping out, having to have to protect her at times when Diddy would jump on her. So allegedly, what he talking about that, basically Diddy, he done been around with Diddy, done beat up Cassie on a few occasions where, after years of her jumping on her, or jumping on him, jumping on her, she finally fought back. You know what I mean? So it sounded a lot of like about and I believe most of the story because if you go by the court case, the civil case, and what she put in her case and what he's saying in what happened kind of lines up. So I do believe that he's being honest as honest he can about certain stuff that went on. He even talked about Diddy being a junkie and being addicted to pills real bad. I think he said Xanax and some other stuff he was addicted to, ecstasy pills and all kind of stuff. So, you know, I don't. I feel like this is going to be like R. Kelly, where it's going to be worse in the end when all this stuff comes out. It's going to be way worse than what we even think. So, what's your thoughts on that? Because I really feel like we looking at a situation where it's going to be bad. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, or whatever.
I just think Diddy, man, it's gonna be bad. But a lot of people think don't. A lot of people that know, they don't think nothing gonna happen to him because they think he got too much evidence on everybody else.
Well, I don't know if anything legally will happen to him, but I do feel like a lot of his dirt is gonna come out in a way where when you asked me that one time, is Diddy done? And I told you, oh yeah, he done, especially once that tape came out with him beating up Cassie in the hotel room. Like that right there was a whole different level. And like Roger Bonds was saying, it was times where when he was around, he said, if you notice in that video, wasn't nobody around. He said when he was around Diddy, he would have to pull Diddy off of her. He said, really, because everybody, he said, a lot of people asked him why he never left if he knew Diddy was doing that. He said, because if I would have left, I would have felt like Diddy would end up killing that girl. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad he would be beating on her or whatever. He said, so I felt like I was protecting both of them by sticking around because I'm the only person at the time that could calm Diddy down. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. So I just like, and then of course they talked about how he broke Kim Porter's nose and I'm just like, like this thing is crazy. And then he done assaulted he assaulted his personal assistant. He assaulted his cook. Yeah, it's bad when you assault your cook. When they talking about the cook did something wrong and he threw the cook out the door, Roger Bond said he threw the cook out the door like the uncle from the Fresh Prince used to throw jazz out. Like the same way. I'm like, oh hell no. You know what I'm saying? And we talking about these women. These ain't dudes. You know what I'm saying? So he assaulting all kind of different women. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly over the last several years. You know what I mean? So I just think it's gonna get way worse. And then a lot of these people he paid off because they said he paid off his personal assistant $450,000 to keep quiet. And if it get to a criminal level, and they ask if it becomes a criminal case, then now if lawyers call these people up in a criminal case, they can speak on it whether they sign an NDA on the civil side, they can still go to court and testify him on the criminal side if he get charged on something at a criminal level and they look as like character witnesses in a criminal case. They can still air Diddy out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he better hope it never get to, is it never go to a criminal level, because if it gets a criminal level, then all them NDAs and all them payouts he did ain't gonna matter in a criminal case. So, but
So you think Diddy been doing this for 30 years?
Yeah, Diddy been doing this for a long. You could just tell by his demeanor. Like once you, like once I kind of heard it, it made a lot of sense to me. Because if you even watch the show, like when he had the show when he made them walk for the cheesecake and all that, Diddy does stuff I think just for the power. He loves the power of it all. You know what I'm saying? Because I forgot it. I think it was Roger Bonds or once somebody else said that he even told them one time, watch me make her cry. And I think it was his cook or something. He said, watch me make her cry. So Diddy does stuff for the power of it. You know what I'm saying? Or to get that rush of saying I'm better than you type deal. So, you know what I'm saying? So, and then that's kind of way he did making the band people. He was always kind of had his chest poked out of saying I'm better than y'all. And I think that's where the whole thing of like having these sex tapes on all these people is saying, oh, at the end of the day, y'all think y'all bigger than me or better than me, or y'all think on y'all my level. I'm about to show y'all because I'm gonna have evidence on all y'all. It's like did Denzel in Training Day. I'm you know what I'm saying. I got cases on all of y'all. You know what I'm saying. And eventually, I'm gonna air it all out. So I bet I wish one of y'all would testify against me. You know what I'm saying. That's
And,
the way.
and,
That's the
and,
way he
and,
got it.
and what's so crazy, man, is won't nobody do it, bro. Ain't nobody saying nothing about what he did, bro.
Mm-mm. No, they
No,
ain't. They not.
nobody but the fans. Like they ain't saying nothing, bro. You ain't heard Jimmy say nothing, Clive, Leon Cole. You heard Russ Simmons say nothing. You heard nobody say nothing.
They're not. They're not. Because my thing is, and see, the only problem I got with all this is all this dry snitching going on by these celebrity bodyguards. I'm like, don't y'all sign some kind of NDA? Is it some kind of code that you don't supposed to talk about what you seen in these situations? Like, I can see if it's in a court situation, but y'all going on YouTube and y'all going on different people's um channels and shows and podcasts, and y'all talking about all they dirty line, all these people, not just Diddy, but y'all talking about all this stuff y'all done seen, especially like people being homosexual or whatever. Like, okay, I understand the Diddy thing. If you want to air him out for what he doing, is dead wrong. But when you start talking about who homosexual and who ain't and all of that, like, is that something that you really should be, talking about? Like that's their business. They not doing that illegal by being, what I'm saying, part of the LGBTQ community. They not doing nothing wrong. You know what I'm saying? So why y'all airing out that and making people look at people differently? You know what I'm saying, that you work for in that capacity. I think that part is dead wrong.
Well, it ain't supposed to be in hip hop. So is it wrong?
I mean, this day and time, everything goes. Like it ain't no such thing as what we know as hip hop back in the day, where our artists are a certain type of people and stand up and all that. That's not the way. A lot of these hip hop guys wearing fingernail polish and dresses and wearing pocketbooks. The biggest artist in the world at one point, or one of them was Young Thug, and he was wearing dresses and carrying pocketbooks, and he probably most gangster people dudes you'll know out there. And look at our athletes, our basketball players and stuff. When they come out there, when they come into the game, the way they dress, Russell Westbrook and Dwayne Wade and this one and that one, and you just like, it ain't. I think all bets off when it comes to that kind. What we knew to be so-called rappers or football, basketball players or whatever. I don't think they don't care. No, they don't care what they look like or who knows. You know
I
what I
don't know.
mean? So,
Hell no.
but but anyway, I guess go ahead and do the
You
draw. And then,
got it. All right, you're now tapped in with the 95 South Podcast Network, streaming in 191 countries, powered by Zeno FM and the Village Global Network, with online monitoring, with online radio box. You can catch us in so many different countries: Germany, France, Sweden, the Czech Republic, just to name a few, man. And shout out to Serial Radio, T Dubs Entertainment, and shout out to everybody that support us, along with some of the creators on on the network. Tori Nelson, Apostle Q, JJ the Exec. Shout out to all of you.
And Tiffany Real. Also, don't forget about her.
That's right, Tiffany Real, ATL, Georgia.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, man. Yeah, man. So it's been another great show, and we doing 910 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, we will come back in the morning and discuss this upcoming free agency and all that coming up.
And we're
So
gonna discuss the 18U Olympic team. Woo!
the what?
The 18U Olympic team.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
know they got LeBron's son. They got Dennis Rodman's son. Carlos Boozer's son. Um, man. Carmelo Anthony's son on there. Yeah, bro. 18U Olympic
Okay.
team.
They got like a little squad. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what's up.
Yeah, man. So we'll tap in the
Yeah, I
morning
was
now.
about. Well, we'll talk about it in the morning because I was proud of my girl last night, Shakara Richardson. But we'll talk about her in the morning.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we'll tap in the morning, man. Catch y'all in the morning around about 10 a.m.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a blessed night.
Peace.
Got the good vibe, got the 1942 pouring in my cup.